We are at ISSA Show North America in Chicago. Before the show begins, you can see it's not that busy yet, but I am with Bob Tillis, the chairman at Imperial Dade. Bob, welcome to our program. How are you?
Thank you. Good morning, Jeff. Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Glad to have you here. Imperial Dade, you know, I think about what an impact you've made on the industry, but I'd like to get a little history from you, if I could. Tell us about the early days of Imperial Dade, how the company came about, and where it is today.
Okay, so I'll skip the beginning. I was born at a very young age, but I don't think you want to hear about all of that. So
I can tell this interview is going to go great.
Right, real quickly. So initially, I came out of manufacturing, and when I was in manufacturing, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And back in the 2000-ish range, when our borders opened up, there were goods that were coming in from offshore that were better quality goods than I could produce domestically for significantly less money. So I realized manufacturing didn't have a future, at least at that time, or so I thought. So I switched from manufacturing and decided to go into distribution, and Imperial Bag and Paper at the time in Bayonne, New Jersey was a customer of mine. So I approached Mike Nash, was his name, who was the then owner of the business, and I said, Mike, you know, you're in your 60s. I don't see a succession plan from the outside looking in. It looks like you have a nice business here. Would you consider selling it to me? And he's thought about it. He scratched his head a little bit. He said, I hadn't thought about it at all, but now that you mentioned it, it makes sense. We spoke, and 6 months later, which was January 1st, 2007, we then bought Imperial Bag and Paper in Bayonne, New Jersey.
Well, what a move that was for you. And since then, you know, every time I look in my email inbox, I joke with Laura Craven at Imperial Dade about how I get these news pieces, new acquisition, happening all the time. Tell us about that. Tell us about your acquisition plan.
So Laura makes great press releases. So part of what drives us to make acquisitions is to make sure that Laura has something to do and generate these press releases. But
let's hope she doesn't see this.
Right. No, Laura can't see this. She'd be very upset if she knew I was talking about her. But what ended up happening, so we bought this business. At the time, Imperial was about a $100 million company operating in one facility in Bayonne, New Jersey. And my friend, my best friend, at the time, he's still my best friend, was the CEO of Party City. And he said to me, oh, you bought Imperial, you do distribution, you should do my distribution. And it was about a $20 million opportunity. The company was running on MS-DOS software. We had no systems really to speak of. We had limited resources, and I said, I just can't do it. The company couldn't do it. It was a national program. And my son, who was then deciding what to do with his life, was yelling at me saying, Dad, your best friend wants you to do this. You should do it. I said, Jace, I can't do it. And if I mess it up, it'll embarrass him and his company, and I'll never get a second shot. When we can do it, we'll do it. So about 3 months later, he reluctantly came to Imperial just to onboard the Party City account. And I'm happy to say he onboarded it successfully, and he also never looked back. So that was how it got started. At around that time, a little bit after that, we looked at the industry, and we saw a lot of our vendors were consolidating. A lot of the companies were being bought up, private equity, going public. There was big consolidation going on, as well as our customer base was consolidating. And we realized to be a regional player is becoming more and more difficult. So we had establishments we were serving in the New York metropolitan market. They were opening in Boston or in Chicago or in Washington, D.C., and if we couldn't service them, they'd get somebody else, and that somebody else would then want to come into our market. So we decided we're going to go on an expansion plan to consolidate and buy a bunch of independents and become more of a national presence.
Okay. Well, Imperial Dade is a valued member of ISSA, so we thank you for your support, and we value our partnership. But I'd like to visit a little bit about the growing pains that might occur, because when you acquire companies, there has to be concerns about rapid growth. How do you handle that?
So, you know, I have a lot of cliches, right? There's like the 3 P's, plan, prepare, perform.
They mean something.
They mean something. If you plan properly and if you prepare properly, you will perform properly. So it's a lot of P's. There's 2 other things. There's 2 S's. These are just rules of life. They happen to be rules of business. The 2 S's are no secrets and no surprises. we tell our team all the time, if there's an issue, talk about it. If you keep it a secret or it's a surprise, it's usually too late to deal with effectively. And I guess the third component is by embracing the people involved in the business and empowering them and letting them do what they do, it enables us to continue to grow and be very effective in our journey. We do consider it a journey. And just a testament to that, you can see the press releases Laura puts out.
I'm sure there'll be one today or tomorrow.
Well,
You can't even keep up.
I heard. No, I can't keep up.
Okay.
I use Excel.
Very good.
I can't. We also, and I'm not just speaking for me, I'm speaking for most of the folks in the company. We like what we do. We enjoy what we do. We enjoy the industry. We like working with our vendors. We like working with our customers. We think your organization is fabulous. The ISSA, we're very involved in the Hygiea.
Yes.
We like what we do.
I saw a reference that maybe it's a philosophy, I don't know, but success is a team sport. How does your growing team feel about what they're doing? As you talk to them, as you hear things.
Well, one of my other corny mottos is if you want a job, you shouldn't work here. If you want a career, this is where you belong. And I joke, and everybody knows it's a joke, and I say, if something goes well, I'll take the credit. If something doesn't go well, we're going to have to figure out who's taking the blame. But the fact that they know I'm joking, and that I do joke with them, and we all talk, it works. The people embrace, people, the number one reason for turnover in a company is job security. Everybody says it's about money and money and money. It's not about money, it's about job security. If people that are in a company that is growing and expanding feel good about their job security. And the second reason for turnover is they don't like their superior, their boss. They don't get treated with respect.
It's about relationships, right?
It's
about the people.
It's all about the people. And we're very big on respect in our organization. My son and I, one of the things when we first started on this journey was we were going to be working together. We always had a very special relationship. And we said, no matter what, nothing's going to get in the way of that relationship. If we work together, great. If it doesn't work for us, either I'll leave, or you'll leave, or we'll sell the business. But nothing should ever get in the way of that relationship. And we feel that way about all the people we work with. If somebody has a disagreement or a point to make, say it, but say it nicely. And we're very serious about that.
I spoke to many professionals in industry who are with companies you've acquired, and they seem very happy. They seem good with what's going on with Imperial Dade, so that's a testament to what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also want to talk about, as a longtime member of ISSA, ISSA is about to have its 100th year anniversary in 2023.
You look good.
Yeah, almost 100 years old.
Yeah.
I don't feel that old, but what do you think about that type of milestone for an organization?
I think, well, that's a long time. But the one thing that it really shows is that through different times, good times, bad times, challenging times, you've been able to make adjustments along the way to be viable and to bring value to both the people that participate and the people that are on the vendor side and that support. I think it's fabulous what you guys have done.
Thank you. Got to think about the future. Looking ahead, what's next for Imperial Dade?
Well, I'd like to say just more of the same. We believe in opportunities. We think there's a lot of opportunities organically. We grow a lot organically too. There's a lot of initiatives in the company, but they never get the headlines. Acquisitions always get the headlines.
They do.
But organic initiatives are equally as important. One of the things I'd like to comment on, you mentioned before that you spoke to some folks and they said they're happy. When we buy a business, we keep all the people. A lot of our naysayers would say, oh, they fire people. No, we don't. If we have to make a deal work by firing some people, it's not a good deal. We make our deals work by growing the companies that we acquire and working with them. The only people that don't stay with us are people that have to retire or for personal reasons, but we keep the people that are with us. But I would like to, my son is now the CEO of the company. I'm the chairman, and he really runs the business. I'm very proud of him. And I would say more of the same. We love what we do. We love the industry. The ISSA, by the way, is our #1 show. We bring over, how many, 35 people at least.
Well, thank you.
Yep. And it's more of the same, and hopefully everybody should just stay healthy and keep on going.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time today, Bob. Imperial Dade, a great company and a valued member of ISSA. Final word, what would you like to say?
So I guess I'd like to just shout out to a big thank you for all our supporters over the years. And one of the transformational acquisitions that we made, there have been a few transformational, but one of the transformational acquisitions that we made was buying Dade Paper back in 2017. And we picked up Laura Craven, who's now the super guru of marketing industry, and it also introduced us to the network organization, where Network Distribution Services is the buying group we're in, and we consider them a very valuable partner to our business. And I just think that as long as people are going to eat and clean and breathe, there's going to be a place for the ISSA and a place for Imperial Dade.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.